Hello, Assalamualaikum, and a very good afternoon to everyone. My name is Muizah binti Muhammad. I'm a speech language pathologist and also early childhood educator and also early childhood operator, and now taking master in early childhood for this semester for educational research method in early childhood. So my topic and my title is speech therapy significance in early childhood educations. So why do I choose this title? Because throughout my journey being an early childhood educator with my background as speech therapist, I see there is a lot of correlations between speech therapy and also early childhood education. And what I can see is that also, if we implement a few strategies or techniques that we test or we do in therapy session for the typical developing children at the early childhood education center, I see a lot of improvement and a lot of progress. So these strategies or techniques, it's not only for children with special disabilities or special needs, but also crucial or beneficial for children with typically developing children at the early stages. So that's why I choose the topics or the title speech therapy significance in early childhood education. So, for this particular research, I would like to know, is there any significant relation between speech therapy and early childhood educations, and to discuss further on the benefit of it. And with this finding, it is hoped that many early childhood operators, teachers, and most importantly, the children will be benefiting from the knowledge shared. And I hope in future I'll be able to further my studies and create a module which is scientifically proven that can be used widely in early childhood education setting. So before that, let me share a little bit about what is speech therapy, what is speech therapist, and what do they do. So speech language therapists are professionals who are responsible for providing clinical services for speech, language, communication, and also swallowing problems in children and also adults. So to become a speech therapist, a person needs at least a Bachelor of Science Speech Sciences or Bachelor of Health Science in Speech Pathology from local and also foreign universities that are recognized. So speech therapist works at various settings such as hospitals, rehabilitation center, school, educational institution, special needs center, and many more. So in overseas, it's quite common for interdisciplinary team which comprise of professionals from various backgrounds such as speech therapists, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, educational psychologists, teachers, educators, facilitators, and even parents to work closely together for the holistic educational approach and also for the children's overall well-being. However, it's sadly in Malaysia, it's quite difficult for children to have a smooth educational pathway or educational journey, and these professionals they are not able to work closely together. This is due to some departments in Malaysia they are separated. Let's just take for childcare, it's under Ministry of Welfare, but for preschool it's under Ministry of Education. So from there we can see that there is no interrelations or connectivity between, like, for children's ages from birth to 4 years old and from 4 years old to 6 years old, and for them to further their studies later on. Okay, so and how does this speech therapy relate to early childhood education? So based on the observation and experience, so by applying some knowledge and also strategies that the therapist does with the special needs children, we see that these techniques or strategies can also be applied with typically developing children so that they are able to have a better progress and also enhance their capability. And therapists can also identify whether there is problem the children has at a young age, and also with early detection, we can do early interventions, and also we can maximize the children's developmental growth. So for this research, I'm using a mixed method, which is the combination of quantitative research and also qualitative research. Whereas the design is non-experimental research that uses the survey method. So I'm using the survey method because this method is widely used and it's one of the most suitable research that is suitable to distinguish the significance of speech therapy in early childhood education. So by using survey method and also using questionnaire, we can gather all the information, all the feedback from the respondent in a shorter period of time and stored in our database. So moreover, due to the evolving technology and digitalization, so many surveys can be conducted anywhere, anytime, at only one click using your finger. So it's very easy, so you can get result which is faster, and from there you can get the response faster from the respondent. So for this research, the population is 30 early childhood operator and educators at childcare center and also kindergarten that teaches children from babies up to 6 years old. All respondent is selected based on the location, which is near Pulai region. So the respondents will include 2 individuals that represents the early childhood organization. So one is the implementer, which is the teacher, with a total of 15 centers. And after all the responses has been gathered, the data is then analyzed, and for the data analysis, it will be using the static, descriptive, quantitative, and interpreted in the frequency distribution. So for the problem statement, there is still lacking in connectivity between the department Ministry for a smooth educational pathway for children. There is also lacking in terms of connectivity between education sector and professionals, which is interdisciplinary team to help boost children as a whole, in a holistic way. And there's also lacking of speech therapists, especially working in education line. Even though we know that's very important, but it's very difficult to find speech therapists. And what is the significance of this study? So this significance of the study is for us in this early childhood education industry to work or collaborate together with the professional for a brighter future for our next generations. So the professionals can advise the educators. Educators can work along harmoniously with the aim or goal for the benefit of the children, not for personal benefit, and we're able to unleash the children's potential and provide a good educational pathway for the children from childcare to preschool to primary to secondary and to higher level educations, and for the survival skills later on in their life. So for the objectives is for us to identify the educational background and experience in the early childhood sectors of the childhood operator and teachers and the correlations between these activities. The activities organized for the children, to identify the speech and language developmental milestone in the curriculum per mata and KSPK, which related to the speech and language development in speech therapy component, to identify the knowledge of the early childhood operators and educators in terms of identification of children with delayed development and referral to professionals such as speech therapists, identify the strategies, to identify whether there is proper training, and identify whether there is cases related to children development that needs intervention from the speech therapists. So the questions will be, so what are the teachers' educational background and do they have experience in early childhood education sector? And are they able to carry out activities appropriately based on the developmental milestones? So is there any significant difference or similarities between the milestones in Permata or KSPK or as compared to speech therapy component? Is the teacher able to detect or identify children with delayed development? Or is the teachers able to use certain strategies in promoting children's speech and language development? the teacher being trained, is there any referral, and is there any significant importance of speech therapy in early childhood educations? So for the literature review, according to Shankoff and Phillips 2000, there's the understanding of the crucial nature of the early years of life in establishing the fragile or sturdy foundations upon which later development is built has increased greatly in recent years. Okay, so many researchers have stated that the early years are very crucial for the children's upbringing later on in their life. Okay, and for the research methodology, so as I mentioned earlier, it will be using the mixed method, quantitative and also qualitative, using the survey method, questionnaire. Okay, and that's it. So I hope that this research will help in terms of the education sector, to know more about speech therapy, and also what are the strategies that we can do to help this early childhood education center to work closely together with the therapists or professionals in order to boost up the child's, or we call it to unleash the child's potential. All right, thank you. Assalamualaikum.